Hey, morning everybody from Saudi Arabia. Welcome to Jeddah. Whew, feel a bit exhausted. It's a very hygroscopic plantain, not a banana. Yeah, this is Saudi Arabia's second largest capital after Riyadh. I'll be going to Riyadh shortly, but it's got 45% of Saudi's GDP. What am I thinking? Gross domestic product comes from this city, and that's because a lot of the exports come out to the Red Sea. Now, it was a fishing port originally. It was got bigger obviously when Muhammad guys came in Islam in 622 AD, around that sort of time, and you got Mecca and Medina, so it's a massive pilgrimage area, huge. Everybody's got to go to Mecca at least once in their life who's Islamic. So this became the main port, and the Ottomans, in order to protect it, built this fortification of coral rocks around it, and this is one of the old gates that protects this city. Obviously, it's all been destroyed now. One of the things I've noticed as I've traveled around the entire sort of Middle East, is just how filthy everything is. I mean, it's people that make the filth, not religion, but it's actually interesting. I'm a third of the way through the Quran, and there's not one mention about preserving nature. Now the Bible's probably the same as well, but it's curious just how people are allowed to walk through rubbish. So many people come here on pilgrimages. I'm sure the Saudis blame them, but they're policing this, and it is just filthy. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm going to have a quick check of a few merchant houses and some of the history of Jeddah before heading out to some food. There's some irony. Well, this is Nasif House. It's an old merchant house. You can see it's made out of this coral here. Okay, let's check it out. This is a good example of how important this area is for a center of trade, and how great it has to have a religion where you've got to come to your place, to Mecca. Everybody's got to come, and therefore everybody's going to buy stuff and trade out. So this is a massive trading port. Here it is, and it exports, what does it say here? Almonds, rose, perfume, turtle shells, and medicine. Balm of Mecca. Scientific medicine. And that then gets exported. All this other stuff comes in from Northern Europe, you can see. But you can see where it gets exported all the way. In this one point, you can go up the Red Sea, Mediterranean, into Europe. You can go down into Africa, and you can go all the way across to Indonesia and Japan. And who knows if it actually came to Australia and it all linked up. Why not? We know we were trading up here, so why couldn't red ochre come up here and through here? In these houses, they had water holes like that, where water was connected to each house underground. That's the old quarter, and I read somewhere, I don't know if these are just poo holes, but I read somewhere that lattice work was designed so that the women could see down, but not people on the street could not see up at them. So they would sit on the balcony, able to get a bit of fresh air. Oh, the joys. Oh, this is quaint. Little alleyway. It's quite cool in here too. Carpenters, seamsters. Well, that's part of the wall that they're excavating, and they have these kind of buggies that go around everywhere. I'm not sure what they are, but look at this. That is the northern gate, which is being preserved. Pretty good, huh? It's not as tall as I would have expected it, but maybe it didn't need to be. It was for Bedouins, which were on horses, and I guess anybody else that wanted to have a pop at this trading empire. I think the Portuguese were big at this stage, trying to do their Christian versus Muslim rule of the world. But it's quite nice as well. It's not quite nice, it's very beautiful. It's got this coral stone that you see in a lot of these places, Zanzibar and stuff. It makes me think about slavery though. I don't know how much slavery came out of here. Probably nothing, but it feels like quite a lot. And it's surrounded by these kind of oldie new buildings. That's pretty good. Well, that's meant to be the museum here, but I think it's closed. I'm not sure. I've just walked all the way around it. Seen this amazing building again with no windows. I think that's a bank, is what I can work out. That is a separate building, which is the council building. But it looks like it's under renovation. It's meant to have a good history. Well, it said it was going to have a good history of this area. So anyway, keep going back into the markets. Well, at the end of a very long day, and here I am in the center of Jeddah going back to my hotel. I'm in the old town, old quarter. It's kind of got souks and same old, rubbish stuff that they sell everywhere basically in all of these places. I'm in the electronics section. They got the materials. What's really funny is I was driving along and all the shops were kind of like, they weren't Benetton like Western companies, but they had like all these sports clothes, female fashion, as though you're in London, but everybody's wearing like dish dashes or burqas. It was kind of like the people that were walking outside the shops, nobody was in the shops. It was complete antithesis. It was really quite weird. Anyway, I don't know how all that works, but it's got my head working or thinking about this Ottoman Empire. I mean, I saw them in obviously Turkey, obviously Iraq, but there's something about coming to Jeddah and just this thought that they were around from 1300, 1299 or that sort of time, 1300, and it was only the First World War where they sided with Germany and Austria. And I think that part of the revolution was the Allies said, Arabs, we will give you your independence, your countries. All these countries we have now in Middle East came out of that sort of Arab uprising because they're all owned by the Ottomans. And this whole area was kind of like turned over when the Germans lost the First World War. Yeah, it's kind of, Ottoman Empire was huge and we don't hear about it much. And it's just a long way down, Jeddah and Mecca and all this sort of stuff, the Red Sea. This is really topical back then, and it kind of fizzled out into nothingness. We hear about the other empires, but not as much about the Ottoman Empire spoken about. So really fascinating. I'm going to dive into a little bit more depth on that tomorrow. But yeah, look, there's the beautiful wildflowers of Saudi Arabia, one of the richest countries in the world, and they still can't pick up their rubbish. They're always going to be poor because they just walk around in this, it's just a rubbish dump. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable how filthy this country is, considering how much money they've got. And it's just one royal guy can go pick up the rubbish or we fine you, but they just decide not to. It's a kind of really weird mentality how they keep in this poverty. Anyway, back to the Ottomans, and yeah, the rubbish will be the rubbish that they want to live in. This is something worth recording that I've just got used to, but it is about 9:30 at night now, and obviously during the heat of the day it was just completely dead. When I came back out at 5:30 just before sunset, it was pretty quiet, and I thought, gosh, maybe they've closed up, maybe everything's finished, and I suppose it's Saturday here, but no, like now 9:30, there's traffic jams, there's loads of people out. Yeah, everything seems to be open again. All the markets open, just selling all the crap. So it's not like it's just specialized food stores open, it's like full-blown markets open. So it's a completely different way of working, and they have 12-hour shifts here, everybody. So that 12 hours isn't just a solid 12 hours, it's broken with 2 or 3 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep in the middle of the day, which means you're pretty much there the entire time. It's kind of really hard on families. I don't know how that works, because in between that you're praying 4 times a day as well, either at work or coming to one of these mosques like the one behind me. So anyway, also what I didn't say, here in Saudi Arabia you cannot practice anything else except Islam. So it's illegal to have any other religion here. I think you can have it, but you can't practice it maybe publicly or even privately, I'm not sure. And they've still got Sharia law, I've read, but I got to do a bit more research on that, because I don't think they hang people, chop their heads off and arms off and hands off and stone them. Can't believe they do that anymore. I think they've still got a justice system, but apparently there's Sharia law. Let's work that out as well.